Iran fired hypersonic Fattah 2 missiles, the most advanced weapon in the Islamic Republic's entire arsenal, directly at two targets that sit at the absolute heart of Israel's military machine. Not a base, not a command post, the factories, the production lines, the actual buildings where Iron Dome is born, Rafael Advanced Defense Systems, Israel Aerospace Industries. Two names that most people outside defense circles have never heard. And yet every interceptor that has kept Israeli cities alive throughout this war came out of those two facilities. Iran looked at the entire map of Israel, and it did not aim at a soldier. It aimed at the machine that makes the shield, and it hit both of them on the same morning. Let that sink in, because we are going to walk through exactly what was destroyed, exactly what the Fattah 2 is, and why nothing Israel has can reliably stop it, and exactly why the Pentagon is now scrambling in a full-blown panic that no official will admit to on camera. Drop a comment right now. Do you think Israel's defense network can survive this? Because by the end of this video, you will have a very clear answer. Make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell so you never miss a breaking update. Let's go. Most people think Iron Dome is a government program, a military system run by uniformed officers in a bunker somewhere. In reality, Iron Dome is a product. It is manufactured by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems, a private defense contractor based in Haifa. So is David's Sling. So are the Spike anti-tank missiles carried by IDF infantry. So is Iron Beam, the laser interception system Israel has been rushing to deploy because it can neutralize an incoming drone for just a few dollars instead of the $50,000 to $100,000 it costs to fire a single Iron Dome interceptor. Rafael is not just a contractor. Rafael is the backbone of Israel's entire defensive architecture. And here's the detail that should stop your heart cold. In August 2025, months before this war ever started, Yuval Basesi, the vice president of Rafael Advanced Defense Systems, sat down and made a public statement. He said that Iran's hypersonic missile development had forced his company and the IDF to fundamentally rethink how they approach air defense. His exact words: hypersonic missiles represent a new era in air defense. The old model, launching a faster interceptor to chase down an incoming warhead, no longer works against this class of weapon. The head of the company that builds the interceptors publicly admitted the interceptors cannot keep up. And this morning, that exact class of weapon slammed into his facilities. Now let's talk about the other side of the equation. Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, manufactures the Arrow 2 and Arrow 3 missile defense systems. Arrow 3 is the crown jewel. It intercepts incoming warheads in space beyond the atmosphere before they even begin their descent toward Israeli soil. Arrow 2 handles threats in the upper atmosphere. Together, these two systems form the outer ring of the layered shield standing between Iranian ballistic missiles and Israeli cities. IAI also produces Heron surveillance drones, Hermes 900 unmanned aerial vehicles, cruise missiles, satellite systems, and critical aerospace components. Between Rafael and IAI, you are looking at the complete production chain behind Israel's offense and its defense. Iran targeted both. Same morning, same weapon. The Fattah 2. So what exactly is the Fattah 2? Because this is where the story becomes truly terrifying. Most people hear ballistic missile and picture a weapon flying in one big predictable arc, a curve that modern defense systems can track and intercept. The Fattah 2 is not that weapon. The original Fattah 1 was unveiled in June 2023 and already sent shockwaves through Western defense communities. It uses a maneuverable re-entry vehicle, a warhead that changes direction during its descent, complicating interception significantly. Western analysts at organizations like the International Institute for Strategic Studies have debated its exact classification, but the maneuvering capability is not in dispute. The Fattah 2 is an entirely different class of threat. Unveiled in November 2023, it does not carry a standard maneuverable re-entry vehicle. It carries a hypersonic glide vehicle. A glide vehicle does not follow a predictable ballistic arc. It maneuvers in both pitch and yaw simultaneously. It maintains extreme velocity during the entirety of its descent. It can skip across the upper atmosphere and approach its target from angles that no existing defense system was designed to anticipate. The engineering challenges behind building a functional glide vehicle are almost incomprehensible, surviving skin temperatures exceeding 2,000 degrees Celsius, preventing composite material cracking under extreme re-entry stress, maintaining stable flight control while the outer surface erodes at hypersonic speeds. Only a handful of nations on Earth have solved these problems. Iran is now one of them. And the Fattah 2 entered combat on March 1, 2026, just 3 days into this war. Footage from inside Israel showed the moment a Fattah 2 impacted a fortified IDF command center. 7 senior officers were reported killed. The trajectory of impact closely matched the profile of the Russian Oreshnik ballistic missile used in Ukraine, which carries a nearly identical glide vehicle design. Technology transfer from North Korea, which began testing hypersonic glide vehicles in September 2021 and fielded the Hwasong-16B intermediate-range missile with a glide warhead in 2024, is considered highly likely by open-source analysts. This is the weapon that hit the factory that builds the interceptors designed to stop it, and the vice president of that very factory warned the world this was coming. Now let's talk about what the Pentagon is not saying out loud, because this is where the scramble begins. 2 days before the strike on Rafael and IAI, on March 14th, Semaphore published a report citing U.S. officials who confirmed that Israel had informed America it was running critically low on ballistic missile interceptors. Critically low. The phrase used by officials was something we expected and anticipated. Not shock, not surprise. They saw this coming, and they watched it happen anyway. The numbers explain why. A single Arrow 2 interceptor costs approximately $3 million. An Arrow 3 costs around $2 million per unit. A THAAD interceptor costs $12.7 million. Each THAAD battery holds 48 interceptors and requires 95 American soldiers to operate. During the June 2025 war, Operation Rising Lion, the United States fired more than 150 THAAD interceptors in just 12 days. That expenditure exceeded 25% of the entire U.S. global THAAD stockpile. The fiscal year 2026 defense budget projects only 32 new THAAD interceptors for the full year. More than a full year of production was burned through in less than 2 weeks last summer. Now stretch that math across 17 days of continuous combat since February 28th. 56 named waves of Operation True Promise 4. Wave after wave of ballistic missiles, drones, and cluster munitions crossing into Israeli airspace around the clock. The stockpile degradation curve is not gradual, it is a cliff, and here is where it gets worse. The IDF pushed back against the Semaphore report immediately. An Israeli military official stated, quote, "At this stage, there is no shortage of interceptors," end quote. That denial landed within hours, but on the very same night, in a late Saturday phone vote, the Israeli government approved the emergency transfer of 2.6 billion shekels, approximately $826 million, to the Defense Ministry. The official justification: urgent and essential defense procurement. This is not the behavior of a government that considers its stockpiles adequate. This is a government writing emergency checks at midnight while simultaneously telling the public everything is under control. The Pentagon, for its part, has repositioned Patriot batteries from as far away as South Korea to cover bases across the Gulf region. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth stated publicly that Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity has been functionally defeated. He repeated this claim multiple times. And yet, as of March 16th, the same morning Iran struck Rafael and IAI, the Islamic Republic had just conducted its 56th wave of strikes, including the confirmed combat debut of the Fattah 2 glide vehicle, a weapon that, by any honest assessment, requires precision manufacturing, sophisticated guidance assembly, and advanced composite material production. If the factories are destroyed, if the production capacity is defeated, this weapon should not exist on this battlefield. It does. The gap between the Pentagon's stated reality and the observable reality is growing by the hour. What does all of this mean for the weeks ahead? The interception rate tells the story with brutal clarity. During the June 2025 war, in the first week, only 8% of Iranian missiles reached their targets. By the final day of that 12-day conflict, 25% were penetrating Israeli defenses. Sustained barrages drain stockpiles, exhaust operators, and give Iran precise data on timing, angles, and salvo sizes that tighten accuracy with every wave. Israel's health ministry reported 3,369 people injured and hospitalized since February 28th. 142 in the past 24 hours alone. Missile debris from intercepted rounds has struck civilian areas across greater Tel Aviv. Now apply that degradation curve to a war that is already on day 17, with interceptor reserves described by U.S. officials as critically low, with the factories that produce those interceptors now under direct fire. From a weapon that the builders of those interceptors publicly admitted, months before the first shot was fired, that they cannot reliably stop. The plan from Washington and Tel Aviv was clear: destroy Iran's missile production capacity fast enough that the interceptor supply holds and the shield never breaks. The reality, as of this morning, Iran is still launching. The factories that build the shield are now rubble. And the weapon being used to turn them into rubble is a class of missile that sits beyond the reach of every defense system Israel currently operates. This is not a setback. This is not a temporary escalation. This is the moment the math stops working in Israel's favor. And the question neither government will answer on camera is the only question that actually matters tonight. How many more waves can this shield absorb before there is nothing left to stop what comes next? The world is watching, and it is holding its breath. If you think this is serious, and you should, drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Who do you think is winning this war? Do you believe Israel's defense network can hold? I read every comment, and I want to hear your take. Subscribe and hit the bell so you catch every update as this war continues to escalate. And click the video on your screen right now to watch what Iran is preparing to launch next.